Hey, how is everyone doing? How are you doing today? How are you? Happy Valentine's Day. I'm too excited today because I want to share with you a bit about love. Now, some of you don't know me. I'm Dr. Miriam Sekandi, and my brand is the Break Free Zone. And my work, my mission on earth, is to help individuals to expand into their power, to expand into their power through healing, so that they can realize what's out there for them. There is so much out there for so many people, but they limit themselves in different ways. And different people will limit themselves based on how they've been raised and who their teachers are, like especially people in the coaching community and spiritual community and personal development community. If you're in this community, definitely your way of thinking is being influenced by your teachers, your environment. And I see so many people judging others, oh, you can't say this, you can't say that. And part of my background as an educator, I'm an intercultural educator, and I know that so many people limit themselves because they just don't know. They are limited based on the environment in which they were raised. The environment in which you were raised has so much that it's taught you. The people who've raised you and the general culture around you has taught you so much and has programmed you in such a way that, hey, Pauline and Rehma, please share this. I can't share it to the different groups. I can't do it here. Facebook is not giving me that option. But yes, so many people have been programmed based on the environments that they've been raised in, based on the education that they've received, based on the spiritual teachers that they have. Now, of course, there is nothing wrong with learning, absolutely nothing wrong with learning. But as we learn different things, different ways of knowing actually inform us, and you can feel where you are drawn. You can feel where you are drawn and who you are drawn to learn from. There is nothing wrong with not learning from everybody, because your DNA, your spiritual DNA, might not be necessarily aligned in that direction. That direction might not be with your mission. So what ends up happening is, people beat themselves up for feeling like they are less than, and others look down on other people based off of what they know. But just because you know ABC does not mean that what someone else knows is wrong. You just might not be in the same spiritual clan. I'm going to use athlete terms here. Where I was raised, we come from different clans, and we assigned clans, and they tell mine's the elephant clan and so on. I can't force somebody from a lion's clan to be elephant clan or leopard clan. So same with you guys. Like, when you're learning, it's okay to gravitate towards one way of thinking, one way of knowing, and you just need to be tuned in enough to know that you're not getting programmed like a radio. You don't want to go into auto mode. If you find yourself doing things without thinking about them, doing things without processing them, doing things without seeing where you are, if you feel, oh my God, when will I ever get there? Oh my God, you need to feel fulfilled. If it doesn't make you feel fulfilled, if it makes you feel icky, it's okay to press pause. It's okay to press pause and take stock. Take stock of what's going on in your life. Take stock of what you stand for. Take stock of your values. And a lot of these values are based off of what, again? we've been raised with. So different individuals are raised differently, and therefore are going to process information differently based off of their experiences, based off of their challenges, based off of how they've overcome life, based off of how they've been able to come out of, the deep dark, Yes, values. Everybody has values, and values can change. Like some of the values I had before have changed right now, based off of how I have been, as I get more and more enlightened, I recognize that some values actually just limit me. And, I'm growing more and more into this limitless thinking, because honestly, if you think about it, you are so limitless. So limitless. I look at individuals who like to who say, oh, I live a private life. I prefer to live a private life. I can't be on social media. I can't share my life on social media. Or they like to play it small. They like to play it cool and calm and hiding. But then the funny thing, they want God to show up for them in a big way. How funny is that? It's kind of like someone wants a present from you, but they don't want it to be physically manifest. And yet they want the physical manifestation. It's almost like a weird situation to be in. You can't want things. You can't want your life to unfold in a certain way, and yet you want to stay hiding. And I'm not saying, like go put yourself out there or whatever, but it might require you to push past what you know as your comfort zone, to go out there and blow yourself up and allow for yourself, to receive from the vastness that is out there. Because you've actually already received, but to manifest, for it to come into flesh, into being. But if you want to hide, you're not loving yourself enough. And part of this live stream is loving you. You have to love yourself enough to stop limiting yourself. Stop limiting yourself by rules out there. There are so many rules that tell you, oh, you can't receive this way, or you can't do this that way, you cannot think this way, you can't be that way. These rules are put there by individuals who are playing in their land of the limited. Somebody who puts these rules out is in the land of the limited, and that is who you've chosen to follow. And sometimes you've chosen to follow a person you don't even know. Whoever put down those rules that you can't be this, you can't be that, you can't do this, or be careful, or don't do this, don't do that. Like that limit, the person who set those rules, you don't even know who they are and where they are right now. I have watched so many spiritual people, so many personal development people who have evolved, and the things they said way back have changed today. They don't think the same way today. But the things they said then, people are still holding on as gospel truth, which is so funny. So what am I trying to say here? Your personal power is very, very important. It's very important for you to trust who you are on the inside. Trust who God has made you to be. Trust who you feel. You feel it. You know it. You just doubt it because it is not aligned with what everybody is saying. That which you feel is not aligned is that part of you that you need to embrace and love and bring to the forefront. Because every time you seek to bury that person, every time you seek to say, no, I think I'll just stay here, I'll just stay in this seat and get comfortable. Every time you say that, you buy into that narrative of the limited, I'm always reminded, and this is one of the most powerful stories, whether it is true, whether you believe it or you don't. If you've ever read the Bible, the story of the Israelites, and when the Israelites were moving from Egypt to the Promised Land, they they went through so many trials and temptations and all things happening, but and they kept, like, because of all the things they kept doing, they kept going around in circles. And I think the journey was supposed to be what, a 4-day journey. It took them 40 years to go around in circles. You know why? Because there were so many people following Moses, and when Moses went to the mountain, guess what? They were lost. A lot of people don't know how to lead themselves. They keep looking for the leader. Loving you, part of loving you is going to involve you seeing yourself, visualizing yourself as your leader. You've got to lead yourself. And when I talk about you leading you, I'm talking about you tuning into your inside, to that still small voice in your soul where you commune with God. In that little place, that is where you receive your instruction and you lead yourself. Yes, Ethel. You know, so lead yourself, because every time you buy into other people's leadership, they are leading you based off of their experience, based off of their insecurities, based off of how they've overcome, based off of who has taught them, based off of all those things. You know, so they are doing what they are doing to lead themselves, and then you in turn follow. So as you follow, make sure that, you know, it's kind of like a parent. A parent will be a parent, and then they have children, and then those children become parents. Well, not everybody becomes a parent, but let's assume everyone becomes a parent. So the children become parents and the grandchildren become parents. So at some point, someone takes a leadership role at the head of the house. So whose values do they carry on into their households? You know, some people will say, I will not do the stuff that my parents did. I will do it my way. Other people will say, no, this is how I was raised, and that is how it's going to be. You know, so your leadership is going to be leading you. And the best way to love yourself is to lead yourself. You've got to lead yourself. You've got to stop mistrusting yourself. That's the hardest. Like, we trust other people and we don't trust ourselves. We are so afraid of the unknown, and yet we are living in an unknown moment. You never knew what this moment was going to look like for you. You didn't know yesterday or an hour ago that you're going to be on my life. You didn't know that. You didn't know that you're going to be taking the breath you're taking right now. You didn't know last year that you're going to be alive this year. You may have hoped, but you didn't even know what you're going to look like when you were 10. You didn't know what you were going to look like when you were this age. You know? So being afraid of the unknown is literally fear is to me, the way I look at fear, it's like this big blown up balloon, kind of like a bouncing castle. If you've ever looked at a bouncing castle, it has so much power when it has air in it, and the minute the air is removed, you look at a bouncing castle, and it's like this big deflated balloon that is unattractive. If you've ever looked at an unattractive, a deflated balloon, it's so unattractive. But when the balloon is still blown up, it looks so nice, and it's kind of like that. So fear is like this big bouncy castle, which is colorful and everything, and it gets big and scares you off. And then you buy into that, and then, when you withdraw, fear is like, I won, and the air is out of fear. Fear won, But fear is this, being afraid of taking leadership of your life is one of the things that keeps so many people behind. So many people behind. And I laugh as people get so much complicated and trying to complicate all this personal development stuff. And yet it all comes down to one thing: owning your power, taking ownership, taking leadership of your power, taking leadership of your life. Own your power and take leadership of your life. Quit buying into these beliefs. Yes, trusting yourself. Quit buying into these beliefs that this is how you. Yes, we can listen. It's not that we don't listen to other people. We do listen to them. To the way I do it, and I can. You might say, but why would we listen to you? When I listen to other people, I don't listen to soak everything they are telling me. I listen to my internal stirrings. What is this message stirring into me? For example, I have listened to people who they are talking so passionately, but for me, their message is showing me that that this person is actually dealing with so much limitation. When I listen, I'm like, I hear so many people talking like this, and I think I need to discuss, like maybe on my next live or whatever. I listen to this person and I'm like, wow, there are so many people actually living this lie or living this shrinkage. So many people are living shrinkage, and I will be blunt. A lot of Christians are living in shrinkage. A lot of Christians believe in a God who is almighty. The word mighty, all giving, all everything. And then when you talk to them, they tell you, oh, but I don't have money. Oh, I've been sitting home. Oh, I can't. Your God is almighty. But you're choosing to think in human terms. You're choosing to think the way you were raised, that this is how life goes. And if it doesn't go in this direction, God is going to help you for your life to go in this direction. And yet your God is trying to tell you to chop off, the borders of your rod and allow space to be your canvas. Allow space. Pauline, you know about this. I teach about it in vision boards. Allow space to be your canvas. Imagine the sky being your canvas. Imagine the space in front of you being your canvas. And all you've got to do is paint your life. Paint your life. Don't look at anyone else's canvas. Their talent is different from yours. Their inspiration is different from yours. All of you are listening to me right now, but my message is speaking to you at different levels. What is touching you is different. Some of you don't like it. Some of you like it. Some of you just want to look at me and the red that I put on. I put on this red just to kind of like, it's Valentine's Day. Bought into the whatever, but I'm not talking a Valentine's Day message, because for me, loving you is the most important step you'll ever take. Quit shrinking. Quit thinking that you have to hide and expect God to show up in a big way. There is absolutely no way. There's absolutely no way your life is going to be blessed. Your life is going to be magnificent. Your life is going to be glorious. There is no way you're going to have good health. You're going to have a lot of money. You're going to have an amazing marriage. You're going to have a great relationships. You're going to have great everything. And it does not show. We shall see it. So if you like a life of shrinkage, then you don't want to receive. If you like a life of not showing up, a life of hiding, a private life where, I don't share my life with the public. Sorry. Because when God showers his blessings on you and gives you he opens his gates and flows everything on you, the gold and the silver, we are going to see it. We are going to see it. So if you don't want it to be seen, don't profess God. If you don't want to show, if you don't want, if you prefer a life of hiding, if you prefer a quiet life, if you prefer a life of like, then you don't even have to mention God's name, because that's not how he works. If he created this entire universe, look at all of us. Look at all of us, 7.5 billion people on the planet. We are not the same. We don't look the same. Our talents are different, born in different places, born at different times. Even twins are not born at the same time. We all are vastly different. That's how magnificent. Look at the trees. Look at the animals. Like, how many species of animals, fish, plants are there? How many? Look at minerals. You know, those of you who have crystals, how many crystals are there? I can barely keep up. I have some crystals here, but I can barely keep up. You know, the magnificence of variety that is there shows you how much is available for you. But for you to receive all of that, my dear friends, you are going to put down, shed all the programming you've been told, all the garbage. I call it garbage. Even if the people who were feeding it to you thought they were parenting you and culturing you and training you right, you know, all they were doing was feeding you all this garbage. My daughter is on here. She knows. She knows where we started when I was raising her and where I am now. We look back and laugh and we are like, what was that all about? You know, I can give you a very simple example that drives me crazy because I did it. And I hear so many people who say, why wouldn't I do that? That's how we were raised and we turned out right. You didn't turn out right. That is the reason why you are, you know, following whatever you are following and wondering why life does not unfold the way you want it to. That's why you don't have everything that you want. That's why you cannot be all that you can be. I'll tell you my story. It's very weird. My little girl, Pauline, she's on here. When she was going for her interview, P1, primary one, elementary one, whatever you call it, wherever you are, grade 1, she had to do an interview to get into the school. And I really wanted her to get into this school. She was 5 and she needed to do the interview. And of course, I knew they were going to ask for the alphabet. They were going to, you know, ask for this and that and the other. So like the days before, I tried to take her through, I tried to like pump stuff into her to learn it like ASAP so that she goes to the interview and ace it. So here I am getting so frustrated with this kid because what I told her 5 minutes ago is not in her brain. And I'm like, are you crazy? Are you stupid? Are you nuts? You need to get this stuff now or never. I beat this kid like 5 years old. Like the heck? Seriously. And this is how I was raised. I was raised, if you're not learning, you get beat. If you're not listening, you get beat. If you do this, you get beat. And I beat the poor kid. Like I look back and I'm like, what was that about? What was that about? And of course, it's because I didn't know better, you know. We do better when we know better. You know, and she knows we've had these conversations and all the apologies and all of that has gone on and the healing has I hope she's healed over it, but you know, we've worked on that part. So it's not like, you know, we are holding. And that's what some people don't realize, that the way you were raised, some of the ways you were raised actually injured you. I don't know whether I'm using the right word. They harmed you. You know, a lot of things like, you know, you put your hand up in class and give the wrong answer and get beat. That injures you. It traumatizes you. You might not know it, but subconsciously there is healing that needs to happen. Part of the reason why people prefer to stay underground and to stay low is because they were beaten to stay low. I grew up where kids were not allowed to like just talk when they are grown-ups. You move away, you go away. I've raised my children in a place whereby they are part of the conversations until they feel the need to excuse themselves. And they rarely do. We actually stay in conversation with them and the grown-ups. But I grew up and you were never around, you know, grown-ups. So the question becomes, if you can't be around grown-ups, guys, share this video. If you can't be around grown-ups when you're growing up, how are you expected to know how to grow up? How are you expected to know what being a grown-up is? How are you expected to learn how to adult? Because you don't suddenly turn into an adult at 18 or 21. You know, because at that time, everyone is expecting you to suddenly be an adult. Hi, Honorable Nagai Sempara. Nice to see you, my sister. You know, Share this. So how do you expect to know how to be an adult if you were never taught how to be an adult? If you were never raised to know what it's like to be an adult, So think about that. How did you know? You only knew because of what you saw. What you I don't know what time it is, but so as you go through this Valentine's Day and celebrate and wonder why no one's loving you, the best person to love you is you. You're gonna love yourself to lead yourself. You're going to lead yourself. You've got to sit down and reflect on yourself and see what are the ways that you are programmed that you need to get out of. It's not an easy process. I did it. It took me years. It's taken me years. And every day I have to remind myself and I have to reflect. Am I bringing back that programming? Is that radio cassette still playing? Is that DVD still playing? Is that whatever still playing? I have to check. Is it the real that is playing? What is playing? What is playing? Is that me? Is that God? Is that Saul? And I strive every day to connect to God. Guys, professing God is not just enough. You need to recognize who you serve. You need to recognize whose you are so that you can know that, there is expansiveness. Yes, honorable breakdown of families. That one is going to happen, and it's a good thing it is actually happening because it is that destabilization. Because we have been trained to think this is what a family should be. So people have gone into families with the programming and then they get in there and they can't see themselves in the family, hence the breakdown, because the idea of family is a programmed idea. It's a programmed idea of what a family should look like culturally. I'm not talking about biblically, but culturally. Or when you grow up as a woman, you need to get married. There is all this pressure of, you need to get married, you need to have children. And then people get into marriages and then they find that they are not satisfied because that is not what you're looking for. The answer lies on the inside. And until that inside is fed, that monster on the inside, not a bad monster, but the good monster on the inside, your soul is fed, until you feed that with self-worth and self-love and self-leadership. You cannot yoke with somebody else because you will yoke with a person thinking they are going to complete you. Most people look for a partner to complete them. The only person to complete you is you. The other person complements you. They don't complete you. They complement. But if you don't know who you are, how can you find what complements you? So most people spend so much time, don't get me talking about families. Most people spend so much time looking for complete and complement. Most people are looking for a completion. I am nothing, I am half. I am half, my other half, my better. They even call the other person a better half. If someone else is your better half, then what are you? You're the lesser half? So the whole idea of family, we could do another whole life about it. And, I could actually dedicate some time to that. Until people learn who they are going to struggle with raising children. They are going to struggle with maintaining relationships because they are running into that headlock of programming, cultural programming, societal programming, academic programming, professional programming. They run into that, and then at some point when their inside starts stirring up and not aligning with the programming, then chaos breaks loose. Guys, I gotta go. I think I've given you enough here. Share this widely because there's somebody who needs to hear it. Somebody who doesn't need to sit and mop and cry and think that they've not got roses. I got my roses already. Yay, got my roses, my chocolate, my candle. My husband knows I love candles. Got my candle already. Got my roses. Got my everything. So I'm all good. But he compliments me. But if you're looking, if you're not leading yourself, This is the day. This is the day for reflection on exactly who you are, how to love you. And it's not a matter of dressing nicely and showing your bum and saying self-love. That is not self-love. Self-love is not bathing. Self-love is not sitting in a bath of essential oils and warm water and say self-love. Self-love is not going to the spa. Self-love begins with recognizing who you are. Who you are. And loving that which you are. And giving that which you are the honor and the space to become even more, to expand even more. And then whoever else comes into your life, lover, friends, whatever, everything that comes to your life to complement that which you are. You can't attract what you want in life if you don't know who you are, because you don't know who you are. So what are you going to attract? The reason you don't have is because you don't know who you are. So anyway, Dr. Miriam Sekandi here from the Break Free Zone. If you ever want to work with me, just send me a quick PM. We connect. I'll take you through a process to see if we are compatible, because some people are not ready, and I only work with people who are ready to break free out of the social patterning, the social programming, to expand into who they are, to expand into that which they are, the bigness of you, the massiveness of you, the expansiveness of you. That's, people who are ready to step into that and remove all the boundaries and limits. Okay, gotta go. Have a good day. Just remember, you were built for more. Bye-bye.